The following is a production of Neural Network Media and is completely AI generated. It is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only.
Okay, gang, it is Friday, March 6, 2026. I'm Josh Cohen, the Logic Bully, and we have a very solid show for you today. Lots to unpack, from a crucial leadership reset at DHS to the Donroe Doctrine finally taking shape in our own backyard, and honestly, the news cycle is starting to look like a return to some semblance of sanity.
I'm Will Sterling, coming to you from the barn in Maine, and Josh, I think sanity might be a strong word for the state of the world, but we're definitely seeing the cleanup crew arrive. Yesterday we were talking about that big victory for the teacher in Tennessee and that 9-0 Supreme Court ruling on asylum. It feels like the pendulum is finally swinging back, doesn't it?
Well, hypothetically, the pendulum only swings if someone stops pushing it, and right now it looks like the administration is doing some very necessary pushing. We're going to get into the media merger of the century in a few minutes, but we have to start with the big cabinet news. Kristi Noem is out at the Department of Homeland Security, and she's being replaced by Senator Markwayne Mullin.
What is going on here? I mean, Markwayne Mullin? The guy's a former MMA fighter, a plumber from Oklahoma, and now he's running the most sprawling security apparatus in the federal government? It's a message, isn't it?
It's a message that the glamour phase of the border reset is over. Look at the data. Noem's tenure was starting to look, well, sloppy. And you know how I feel about sloppiness. Between the $220 million advertising scandal where she was using DHS funds for what looked like campaign ads on horseback, and that absolute disaster in Minneapolis.
Right.
Where federal agents killed 2 U.S. citizens, Renee Good and Alex Preddy, during an immigration sweep. The execution was just poor, and my wife, who is a doctor, constantly reminds me that in a high-stakes environment, the difference between a successful procedure and a catastrophe is discipline. Noem was focusing on the optics. Mullin is being brought in to focus on the operations.
I mean, literally, they hate you. The ruling class thinks they can just give you a glossy commercial of a governor in a cowboy hat while the actual enforcement on the ground is a mess. People are tired of the talk. They want the results. And Mullin isn't exactly a guy known for his, nuanced approach to a fight, is he?
No, and that's why the Senate is actually looking at this as a DHS leadership reset, according to Punchbowl News. Noem is being moved to a regional role, which is basically being sent to a corporate equivalent of a farm upstate, while Mullin is expected to purge the internal dysfunction.
A farm upstate. That's brutal, Josh. But think about it. If you're a cartel member and you hear the new DHS head used to choke people out for a living, maybe you think twice about that next shipment.
Let's assume, for the sake of argument, that the cartels even care about the personality at the top. What they really care about is the Donroe Doctrine, which we'll get to. But before we leave the domestic front, we have to talk about the Save America Act, because this is where the political war is really happening right now.
This is it. This is the Hill. President Trump was on Truth Social yesterday, and he was very clear. Pass the Save America Act at the expense of everything else. It's S1 383. It passed the House, but it's stalled in the Senate because the establishment is terrified for a simple requirement for documentary proof of citizenship to vote. Why are they so afraid of a birth certificate?
Well, they claim it's voter suppression, which is a logically bankrupt argument if you look at the requirements for literally any other legal activity in this country. My wife, the doctor, did I mention she's a doctor? She has to provide her birth certificate, her medical license, her DEA registration, and her board certifications just to walk into a new hospital, right? And yet we're told that asking a voter for a birth certificate is an extreme nationalization of elections, according to some of these activist groups. It's ridiculous. But the real story is in Texas, where Ken Paxton is using this bill to basically end John Cornyn's career in real time.
Oh, I love this. Paxton told Cornyn, basically, I'll drop out of the Senate runoff if you vote to abolish the filibuster and pass the Save America Act. He's calling their bluff. He's saying, if you really care about election integrity, nuke the 60-vote threshold and pass it today.
It's a masterclass in political leverage, and it highlights the fact that the GOP is currently divided between the fighters and the folders. Facts don't care about your feelings, and the fact is, without voter ID, the franchise is essentially meaningless because it's not secure. It's not secure! And the ruling class loves that. They want the system as murky as possible so they can manipulate the outcomes, but the people are waking up. I mean, look at California. 1.3 million signatures submitted for voter ID in California?
It's a populist wave, and it's crashing into the modern crazy in our schools, too. We have to talk about Mirabelli versus Bonta. This is a watershed ruling from the Supreme Court that just came down. It's a massive win, pardon the expression, for parental rights.
What is going on here? The Supreme Court had to actually step in and tell California they can't lie to parents about their own children?
Exactly. The court refused to pause an injunction against a policy that forced teachers to keep student gender transition secret from parents. They cited the First Amendment's free exercise clause and the 14th Amendment's due process clause. It's the most significant parental rights ruling in a generation, and it's already having a domino effect. In Wisconsin, the Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights, led by Kimberly Ritchie, just launched an investigation into the New Richmond School District. Apparently, they were allowing biological males into female restrooms, and the federal government is finally saying, no, young women should not be forced to share intimate spaces with biological males.
Common sense. Is it that hard? It's like we're finally remembering how to be a civilization. But Josh, why does it feel like we only get these wins through the courts? Why aren't the legislatures doing their jobs?
Because the administrative state is a sloppy behemoth that views itself as superior to the voter. But look at the blue state exodus. People are voting with their feet. The Liberal Patriot is even reporting that the exodus is scaring the left because they're losing the very people who pay the taxes and follow the rules.
They're fleeing the crazy. Literally, you can only tell a parent they don't matter so many times before they pack up the U-Haul and head for Tennessee or Florida. Before we get back to the analysis, let's deal with a hard reality. Real independence isn't free. This entire network, from this show to our flagship, the Neural Daily, exists because one man, Eric Christensen, decided to build it himself. He didn't ask for a government grant. He invested his own capital and technical expertise to architect a media platform that respects your intelligence. If you value that kind of meritocratic building, back it up. And don't limit yourself just to the politics. Get the full strategic picture by subscribing to the Neural Daily and the rest of the network. Support the builder, and you support the mission. Support the builders, exactly, because the legacy media is currently being sold for scrap. Did you see this Paramount Skydance deal to buy Warner Brothers? $111 billion? And David Ellison is saying he wants to put CNN back in the truth business. I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, hypothetically, if you're David Ellison and you just spent $111 billion, you realize that the activist model of news is a depreciating asset. He explicitly said he wants to speak to the 70% of Americans in the middle and is using the CBS model where Bari Weiss has been installed as editor-in-chief to try to reclaim some sort of centrist, pro-American editorial stance.
Right.
It's a move toward American dynamism, which is the theme of this summit in D.C. right now. The tech and media elites are finally realizing that they keep hating their own country. The country is going to stop buying their products. It's basic market logic, which, as we know, is the only logic that eventually pierces the woke bubble.
But think about it. Bari Weiss at CBS, CNN trying to be truthful. It's like they realized their entire business model was based on gaslighting the people in the flannel shirts, and they finally ran out of gas. They hate you, but they realize they need your money, don't they?
Precisely. But while the media is trying to pivot to truth, the streets are still grappling with the modern crazy. Did you see the story out of Utah? The triple homicide in Wayne County. A 22-year-old named Ivan Miller killed 3 women, including an 86-year-old randomly, just because he needed a car after hitting an elk with his truck.
Oh, that's just horrific. I mean, really, just at random?
At random. No connection to the victims. He just needed a vehicle and decided their lives were the price. It's the random savagery that happens when a society loses its moral compass. But, and here's the law and order angle, They caught him because of automated license plate readers and a key fob tracker. Right? He fled from Utah to Colorado, and law enforcement used the tech to hunt him down in Pagosa Springs. It's a reminder that in a crazy world, you need a police force that is empowered by technology and not hamstrung by defund rhetoric. Facts don't care about your feelings. And the fact is, without those cameras and that data, this guy might still be out there.
It's terrifying, and it's why people are so defensive of their communities right now. We're seeing a total breakdown in the social contract in some places, and people are they're done with it. They want the machinery of mercy, like those safe haven baby boxes we saw in Texas this week.
Which is a beautiful thing, honestly. A baby was surrendered safely in Abilene because of one of those boxes. It's the definition of a common-sense solution to a human crisis.
Literally, it's about saving lives without the bureaucratic nightmare. But Josh, we have to talk about the Donroe Doctrine because this foreign policy shift is it's massive. We're reestablishing ties with Venezuela for the first time since 2019.
Well, look at the context. We captured Maduro in January, Operation Absolute Resolve. He's a fugitive in U.S. custody now, and the interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, is meeting with our officials to discuss mining reforms and oil.
Right. We're finally prioritizing our own hemisphere.
It's the Great Regional Reset. Doug Burgum and Chris Wright have been down there scouting oil and critical minerals. We're moving away from the endless wars in the Middle East and focusing on Western Hemisphere preeminence. And that includes the declaration of total war against the cartels, now officially designated as terrorist organizations.
They hate you, so we're going to stop them from poisoning you. Why did it take us 20 years to realize that the threat wasn't just in a desert halfway around the world, but in our own backyard? The Donroe Doctrine is basically the Monroe Doctrine with teeth, isn't it?
It's Monroe with a Predator drone. And speaking of teeth, how about LeBron James? 41 years old, and he's rewriting the assists record books for the Lakers. But I have to be the buzzkill here, Will, because this traveling farewell tour idea where he signs 1-week contracts with every team in the league, it's sloppy.
What? It's genius. Every fan in every city gets to see the king for one last week. It's the ultimate populist move in sports.
It's a gimmick. It's a total mockery of roster integrity and salary cap logic. Professional sports is supposed to be a meritocracy, not a circus. If LeBron wants to buy a team for $7 billion, which is the rumor, then fine, go be an owner. But don't turn the league into a reality show because you can't let go of the spotlight.
You're just mad because he's a player as owner, and you can't put that on a spreadsheet. It's American dynamism in a jersey, Josh.
It's American narcissism in a jersey. Facts don't care about your highlights. But let's get to the main story today. The Social Security nationalization of customer service. Starting tomorrow, March 7th, the SSA is launching a radical overhaul.
Wait, tomorrow? This is actually happening?
Yes, they're abandoning the localized field office model. If you're a senior or a widow in rural Maine and you have a complex problem with your benefits, you're not going to see your local agent anymore. You're going to be routed to a national call center where some staffer in Arizona who doesn't know your state's laws is going to try to triage your case.
What is going on here? They cut 7,000 jobs through the Department of Government Efficiency, and the solution is to make it impossible to actually talk to a human who knows you? Why are they doing this?
They're aiming for a 50% reduction in physical office visits, pushing everyone towards tech-driven portals. And look, I'm a logic bully. I understand the need for efficiency. The GAO identified billions in potential savings, and the SSA was a bureaucratic mess.
Right, but efficiency shouldn't mean abandonment.
That's the debate. Is it efficiency if a 75-year-old woman is stuck on a phone for 60 minutes, which is the current average wait time, trying to explain a pension offset to a robot? My wife, the doctor, often deals with hospital administrators who try to streamline care by reducing face-to-face time. And she'll tell you, that's when the mistakes happen.
Literally, they hate you. They want you to just be a number on a digital dashboard so they can check a box and say they save money. But the actual service is hitting a breaking point. Phone wait times are already over an hour, and this is progress?
It's a bumpy transition, as the experts are calling it, but it's part of a larger trend. We're seeing the government try to operate like a lean startup. But the problem is the government isn't a startup. It's a massive social safety net for 72 million people. And when you cut the human element out of that net, people fall through the holes.
It's the ruling class in their ivory towers or their Silicon Valley offices thinking that an app can replace a local agent who actually knows the community. It's the same mindset that led to the Noam disaster. Optics and efficiency over the hard work of actually getting it right.
Let's assume, for the sake of argument, that the national model could work if the tech was perfect. But the tech isn't perfect, and the wait times prove it. We're seeing a machinery of mercy, like the baby boxes, succeeding because they're simple and direct, while the bureaucracy of delays is failing because it's trying to be too clever.
Too clever by half. That should be the motto for the last decade of DC governance. But Josh, look at the whole picture today. We've got a cage fighter running DHS, voter ID winning in California, CNN trying to tell the truth, and a foreign policy that actually cares about the Western Hemisphere.
It's a return to the mean.
Literally, it's the common sense comeback. And honestly, I'm here for it.
Well, it's a start, but remember, the modern crazy is a persistent adversary, and they don't give up just because a few lawsuits went the wrong way. Facts don't care about your feelings, and the fact is, the work of restoring sanity is only beginning.
It's a solid show, Josh, and it's a solid way to end the week. I'm going to go check my fishing lures and wait for the Donroe Doctrine to finally secure the coast.
And I'm going to go help my wife with the kids, since she just finished a 12-hour shift. Folks, that's our dose of common sense for today. Enjoy your weekend, stay logical, and we'll see you back here on Monday.
Keep your head on a swivel. They hate you, but we love you.
This has been the Neural Right. We'll talk to you then. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to check out the rest of the network. Facts don't care about your week.